Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I will be talking about how I got pregnant. Well, not how I got pregnant because you know how I got pregnant, but basically the story of I don't know how to introduce this video. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell from the title, this is a video about me being pregnant. Now I'm a little bit like giddy, like nervous filming this because it's not a video I ever thought that I would film. So apologies if I get a bit nervous, but I'm basically going to be sharing my experience becoming pregnant, what I did, what I recommend, any like holistic tips, any other kinds of tips. And basically, yeah, I'm a nosy person, and if you're watching this, you're probably nosy too, or you might be on the journey yourself. And let's just get in. I was going to say get into it. No. Sorry, I can't, that line gives me the ick. Let's get started. I just want to put a disclaimer in this video and say that I am well aware of how lucky I am and how privileged I am to be pregnant. I cannot stress that enough. I am going to be very honest in this video, but I did just want to put that at the start. And if this is a topic that you might find triggering, just please don't watch this video. I watched so many of these videos before I was pregnant and I found them really useful, and I'm really glad to the creators that did those. So I thought I would do my own. So just to take it back a bit, I've had horrendous periods since I was about 10 years old. I've been on medication since I was 11 years old, which now I think about it, why weren't they like doing more tests on a child? Because why is she bleeding so heavily? Irregardless, I only just had a laparoscopy for my periods last September, and if I'm being honest, and I think this is something I would recommend, if you are somebody who really suffers with your periods but you are considering having children in the future, I would really recommend just getting everything checked out just before. Faisal and I had been talking to our family about potentially trying for kids, but we knew we weren't going to actually be doing it until I'd had my laparoscopy. I'd had internal scans. I knew that I had a massive fibroid on my womb basically, but I wanted everything else double checked. I needed to see a gynecologist. I needed a laparoscopy. I needed that surgery to speak to a surgeon just so that I could have the all clear, and that's what I got after the surgery. Got my diagnosis of endo, and they said, if you are thinking about kids, just crack on. Now to the nitty gritty, basically. Basically, had my laparoscopy at the end of September. You have to take 6 weeks off, putting a shift in. So was healing for 6 weeks. Then that took us to November, and we tried in November, but we were kind of like, it would be too perfect if we got pregnant now. So we tried in December and got pregnant in December, and I'm well aware of how lucky I am. That's just crazy to me. We didn't expect it to take less than 2 months to get pregnant. I know that that's insane and that's so many people's dreams. I do know that it is possible, but I just still want to just say I know how lucky I am and grateful. I kind of feel like it was the universe balancing itself out. My periods are that bad that on more than one occasion, they've made me want to end my own life. That's just an idea into how bad they are. And because I'd had such an awful year leading up to the pregnancy with the NHS basically making me disabled, I was like, okay, well, I feel like I kind of was manifesting getting pregnant quickly. I knew that there was a chance it wouldn't happen, but I was kind of thinking, look, universe, I've had such an awful time. Can you just give me this, basically? And yeah, that's what happened. So it took less than 2 months to get pregnant. Crazy. Our family weren't surprised. I think because we've been talking about it for a while. All my family know about my periods because I make it everybody else's like issue to support me. So our family knew that we were considering trying. So I feel like our family kind of thought that we'd been trying for longer than we actually had. So they were like, oh yeah, you're pregnant, that's amazing. But we were like, yeah, really quickly though. It's a bit of a surprise. But yeah, now to finding out. So I was due on my period on New Year's Day, and it got to New Year's Day and I was like, my periods are awful. I was okay, like I was stood up, I was walking, I was eating. I was actually traveling from my dad's where we'd been for New Year's Eve, like back up to Liverpool. And I put like 5 pads on. No blood. I normally like that on the day I'm meant to be on, because I track on the Flow app. I know I'm going to be on, and I woke up at 6 a.m. like 6 a.m. Where's the blood? Didn't happen. So I was like, okay. But then I thought, well, I don't know, maybe the universe is giving me like New Year's Day. But then it got to the 2nd of January and I was like, where is it? Like, where is it? But because I use and trust the Flow app so much, the Flow app was like, if you don't come on by tomorrow, then do a test. And the mistake that I made the previous month in November, which is something please don't do this if you're trying or looking to try, I was testing every day, like basically as soon as I was ovulating, I was testing. Obviously it was negative, and then when I was on my period, I was testing, and I was just relentless. I went through so many tests. I must have spent a fortune. Don't do that, because I just got fixated on it, and I was like seeing all these negatives, and I was like, no, like surely. And then I was like, why have I done that? Why? I feel like you're manifesting bad news. So in December, I was just like, I'm not gonna check. And I wanted to, because the tests are right there. I was like, I want to, but no. Not gonna check, like just not gonna do it. And then when it got to the second day of me still not bleeding, something in my brain was like, you've got to do it, you've got to do it. And I was resisting it, like no, and it was 11 a.m. and I was like, no, I'll just wait till tomorrow. But something was like, do it. And Faisal had just left the flat, like he wasn't even here. And I was like, okay. So I did a test and it was positive. Okay, did another one, it was positive. I was like, what? I was like, right, okay. Rang Faisal, he didn't answer. I was like, rang my parents. I was like, I think I'm pregnant. My dad was like, oh shit. My mum was like, oh my god. My mum had just that minute, whilst I was literally doing the test, had written it in her manifesting journal that I was pregnant. I was pregnant and healthy. Like she'd just written it down. And we timed it. The minute I was literally peeing on the stick, she'd written it down that I was pregnant. Like mums know. Finally got through to Faisal. He won't let me share the screenshot, but we've got a screenshot of the FaceTime of Faisal just like, what? Because you could just about see the like 2 to 3 weeks positive thing on the test. I just held up the clear blue stick and he's like, it's amazing. Telling people, so my mum and dad knew straight away because I needed to tell someone. I was alone in the flat, Faisal was away. And then we decided to only tell the people that we really needed to. For instance, I had to tell work. Faisal told the band. I was going to be seeing my sisters because we were going to a gig. Yeah, my mum was like, you have to tell your sisters. And I was like, well, I know, because I'm going to see them. And by this point, after a week, my tits had like tripled in size. So my sisters would know. They'd look at me and be like, they're not normally big, like they would know. So I had to tell them, and they were like over the moon, overjoyed. Faisal told a few of his family members, and yeah, there was like a couple of friends that knew just because I was seeing them, and I knew that I wouldn't have been able to hide it because people know me so well, I can't lie. But apart from that, I just didn't really want people knowing. It did make me feel uncomfortable knowing that people that we told in confidence definitely have told a few people because of the like I know people so well, and there are definitely people that had been told that I didn't want knowing. Nothing against them, but just because, oh my god, it hurts. Sorry, his paws just went into my cereal. This is my firstborn son. Yeah, people knew that I didn't tell. Not because I didn't want them to know, it was just more of a case of like, I wanted to wait till 12 weeks for like people to know just in case. And if somebody tells you that they're pregnant in confidence, please don't tell other people, because knowing that it almost definitely happened to me makes me feel a bit sick. Like I'm just like, why would you tell? Like I know it's an exciting thing and people are just happy for you, but if there's one bit of advice, if somebody tells you that they're pregnant, unless they've said specifically that you can tell people, just don't. That's just my personal preference. Bit of a tangent, it's just my honest thoughts. I'm going to be very, very honest, by the way, on my social media about this whole pregnancy journey. Now I want to talk about a bit about what I think helped me get pregnant so quickly. Again, I know there's so much involved. There's science and lifestyle and illnesses and information. There's so much involved, but I just want to share what I think helped me, just in case anybody else finds it useful, or I mentioned something you've not thought about, or if you're like me and you're just nosy and you're just intrigued, then yeah, let's just go. So I didn't think that I ever wanted kids until I met Faisal, and I was like, whoa, same with like marriage and everything, didn't want any of that. Then I met Faisal and I was like, deal. So we talked about it on and off, but we were talking about it as if it was in the future. Like not now. And so yeah, it was a happy shock, of course, but it was still a bit like, whoa. There are certain things I did anyway. I knew that there was a possibility that I wanted to be pregnant in the future. So about a year prior to me getting pregnant, I cut my coffee down from 2 to 3 cups a day to 1 to 2 cups a day. That might not sound like a lot, and I know 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day is not too much caffeine anyway, but I knew that I relied on those 2 coffees a day to function, and if I was just then going to go to basically decaf, I knew I had to get used to it. And I found that doing it such a long time in advance was really, really helpful. I'm not someone who drinks energy drinks or anything like that. I used to be addicted to them when I was like a teenager, and are like, my heart, I don't think it's never like fully recovered from it. So I just never drank energy drinks or anything like that, just because caffeine can be a massive hindrance to people on their like fertility journey. That includes your partner as well. If you're in a relationship with someone and you're both wanting to try for a baby, like everything that you as the womb owner are doing for your health, like your partner has to do the same. You just do. The same with alcohol. Like I swear I'm intolerant to alcohol anyway, because I think I drank too much as a teenager, so I can't really drink anyway. Same with Faisal. I'm very lucky that whenever I was like, I'm doing this, Faisal's like, yeah, I'm doing it too. And again, that's like a massive lifestyle factor. Neither of us have any unhealthy social habits like drinking drugs, and I think that's definitely a massive factor. Yeah, I think it is something to just seriously consider, because I know people can get pregnant really easily, but you want to give yourself like the best chance of sustaining a healthy pregnancy. So any unhealthy habits you have, like even like energy drinks, I just think you need to just work on. Like, I'm not a doctor by the way, but this is just what I did that I think helped me. I just think like if I had unhealthy habits like drinking drugs and smoking and like vaping and multiple energy drinks, I don't think I'd be giving myself the best chance. But if you're not bothered about getting pregnant, I suppose it doesn't matter. Please don't think this is me judging anyone for what they're doing, by the way. I don't care what other people do, just don't be horrible. What else? Folate/folic acid. I was taking, they say to take like 3 months before you start trying, so I just started taking it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think folate's better than folic acid. Don't quote me on that. Vitamin D as well is really, really important. Just basically getting in your vitamins is really, really important and will really help. So yeah, take your folic acid. I'm glad I did, because I've been so sick, so unbelievably, debilitatingly sick this past few months that I've hardly been able to take my folic acid just because I can't take the tablet. So I'm glad that I was doing it before, and hopefully I can start like taking it again. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's relevant, but like if you're wanting to cover all bases just for that like peace of mind, maybe just get like a general blood count to just see where your levels are and ask for the specific breakdown of levels, because I'm pretty sure somebody's told me that vitamin D levels, if your vitamin D levels are fine, apparently that just means that you don't have rickets. So irregardless, if your vitamin D levels come back okay, I would still be taking supplements. You can get folic acid in certain foods, but do your own research and yeah, just get those vitamins in. It's better to get it from food, but if you struggle for any reason, then some kind of vitamins would be better than nothing. Hydration station, urination station. I tell everyone this all the time anyway, you have to be hydrated. I don't know how so many people who have access to clean drinking water just don't drink all day. I'm thirsty every 2 minutes, but keep hydrated. Get some Celtic sea salt, put a sprinkle of it in your water, and that will really help you know, actually hydrate yourself, because drinking a ton of water might do the opposite effect. You need like the right kind of salt. For me, my favourite thing is to get a lime or a lemon, cut it in half and like just squeeze it into the water. It's so refreshing. If you're somebody who like really loves pop, just get some sparkling water and like squeeze the lemon into it. Honestly, it tastes like posh, like fancy middle class pop. Also, you're getting your vitamin C in. De-stress, oh my gosh, I cannot stress enough to de-stress. Really well and truly, before I even considered seriously about like trying for kids, I cut out any kind of stress I could. I was in a living situation that was causing me massive stress, which meant that I wasn't healing from my like broken foot. Had to sort that out. Like the work situation, had to sort that out. Friends that were just causing me stress, had to cut them out. In the nicest way, just anyone that was bringing me stress I just didn't bother with, like just didn't see, because I thought I don't want anything to like add to the load. And I just became really zen, and it just made me less social, which was a bit boring, but I just was like, I just want to give myself the best chance. And I feel like having the laparoscopy so soon before trying, I had 6 weeks of like just being quite chill and like not doing anything that was going to bring me great stress, and I really feel like it helped, because I've been able to carry it into the pregnancy. My life has been very, very stressful the start of this year. It's been, I won't lie, like so many like personal and like work things have happened, and it's been, apart from the pregnancy, a really actually shit start to the year for me. Really shit actually. But I've just not been stressed about it, because I'm just used to being like I am the girl with the house on fire in the background, and it's just like I'm just not stressed. Oh my gosh, one thing that's crazy that I really recommend is acupuncture. If you can afford it, like, I won't lie, it's expensive. It's like around 50 quid a time depending on where you were. It's so worth it. Oh my gosh. So basically I couldn't walk for almost a year, as I've said so many times. I had 2 rounds of acupuncture. I started walking. Like, no word of a lie, the acupuncture made me walk. Before that I was with my crutches in a massive boot, couldn't walk. 2 rounds of acupuncture and I was walking. I was like, the woman that does it, Rachel, at the Liverpool Acupuncture Clinic, I think it's called, I need to link it below if you're in the kind of Liverpool area. Oh my gosh, she saved my life. But you can get acupuncture for basically anything. Like, you can get acupuncture when your bone is still broken. Like, obviously check with professionals, don't quote me on it, I'm not a nurse. Yeah, so I was like, so I texted like, can I get acupuncture for fertility? Because she said like, oh, you've got endo, so you can come and we can help with that. I was like, yeah, I'll be back. And so I texted her, she was like, yeah. I was like, when are you free? And then she gave me a couple of days and I was like, I'll be on my period, is that okay? So in my, it would have been the November period. Was it the December period? Whenever I got pregnant. Anyway, I went on like day 3 of my period, which day 3, oh, if you know, you know, day 3. Went on that day, had acupuncture, left, okay? It was all around my like tummy and like womb area, and I think I had like a few here, the needles. And then I went back on like, I think the day before I was like fertile, like a day or 2 before I was fertile, and had it again. And that month I got pregnant. Like, I'm not saying that's the reason why, but don't underestimate some holistic things. Like I texted her when I went for the scan, she was like, oh my gosh, I've been thinking about you today, like please keep in touch. And I'm like, hun, I will, because this woman, like, I know it's the art of acupuncture, but because she's the one that did it, I just owe her like everything. Like, what a woman. Yeah, go and see Rachel. She gets booked up really quickly, but she's amazing. So that's another thing. Another thing, just while we're on the more like holistic level, is spirituality. So I am that kind of girl who has crystals, but I don't know what they mean. I wasn't holding crystals, but I did do some kind of manifesting. And what I did was, there's a fertility affirmations channel on YouTube. So I just searched like fertility affirmations, and I think it's a Scouse girl that does it, which kind of made it feel more real because like I live in Liverpool. And it was like just affirmations, just like my womb and my ovaries are relaxed, and it's just like 16 minutes of that, and I was just listening to it like a couple of times a week, feeling it. And I wrote the affirmations down. Like, again, this was in like November, December. I was expecting me to be having to write these for ages. Yeah, I don't know if you can see, if it's gonna focus, but I think these are the affirmations from the video. Again, I can link the video if anybody wants to, but remind me because I'll probably forget. A list of affirmations, and I wrote them down. As I was writing them down, I was imagining my bump. I would be just like holding my like imaginary bump. Like, I've only got a small bump now, but thankfully I'm always bloated because of the endo and the fibroid. So I always had like a bloat to hold, and I would be in bed and I would only ever sleep on my side, and like sometimes I would just hold my belly as if there was something in there. Like, these are things that you can do in private. Like, you don't even need to tell anybody you're doing them, but I don't know, I just felt like the more I did in a really calm, relaxing way, it's just going to kind of just add to it. And the power of visualization and manifesting is unreal. Like, I did it all the time when I couldn't walk, and just imagine myself putting shoes on. I'd just lie in bed crying, just like visualizing myself putting shoes on and not having crutches next to me. It works. My camera overheated. Another big thing for me personally was, I'm on quite a few different medications to maintain my periods because they're so heavy and they're so painful. I decided to not take them for the period that I was due to have in December. I just thought, I'm not going to take any. I did the same before I was due on in January. I was just like, I just refuse. I can't pronounce them, even though I've been on them since I was like 11. Tranexamic acid, mefenamic acid. I'm also on something called northisterone, and I just didn't take any of them. I can't live without them, but I thought, you know what, I don't want to risk anything. And even though some of these medications are just to take when I'm actually on, I thought, I'm just not even going to think about taking them, and I didn't. And I think that kind of helped because it just meant that my period was just doing what it was going to do naturally. I stopped taking contraception as well months before. I had my Mirena coil removed in 2022, and I had to go on microgynon in end of 2022, start of 2023. because I needed to have a break from my periods because of what they were doing to me physically and mental health wise. So I probably had about like 8-9 months off any contraception, so that's something to consider as well. Obviously, I know people that stop taking the pill and then get pregnant the week after, but definitely if you're on anything like that, it's worth seeing what alternatives are for you. If you're someone like me and has unbearable periods, like I said, there are medications that you can take to help with the pain and the bleeding, and it means that you don't have to be on contraception, so definitely look into that. I know GPs love putting us on contraception, but I personally think contraception is just horrific for what it does to you. But sometimes it's the only way. Yeah, we know it's not though, don't we? And lastly, my favorite thing is the Flow app. I will link it below. I know a lot of people are on it. I pay for every month. I think it's a couple of pounds, but honestly, it's so worth it. I actually downloaded the app to not get pregnant because I wanted to know when I was fertile, so to just not have sex in that window. But for the 1 to 2 months that I was like, oh, I think I want to get pregnant, it was so useful because you get to know your body more. I think as well, if you have regular periods, it's still good to know exactly what's going on at what time. You can like click onto it when you're bleeding, you can click onto it when you're ovulating, you can upload and select what symptoms you have. It's just really good. It really helped me know my body even more, and I'm really lucky. I have super regular periods, but I still learned a lot about myself. So I really do recommend the Flow app, especially if you don't have regular periods, because I know that irregular cycles can have an effect on your fertility and your ovulation window and things like that. So that's really useful. Please, it is worth it if you can afford it. Again, it's probably the cost of like 1 coffee or 1 pint a month. I think you can pay for a year. But I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna love it. I love it, and I still use it now because I'm pregnant. It tracks your pregnancy. It's like, I know that I've got a lemon-sized baby in me right now because of the app. But yeah, the Flow app, I can't, none of this is sponsored. It's probably my favorite app I've ever used, ever. And if you have it, I know a lot of people that have it but don't take advantage of it, like my sisters, but it's really important to just track cycle, just because you never know when your circumstances might change, or you might be tracking your symptoms for 6 months and then it gives you a report and you might be like, yeah, that's weird, why am I feeling that, or whatever, and it just might help. I know a lot of us really struggle with periods, so I do recommend that app. Also, another thing I did for the 2 months I was trying is I went online and got some ovulation strips, and basically it's kind of like one of those thin pregnancy strips. You just dip it in pee, basically, or pee on it, and it shows you when your fertile window is. Obviously, you can also track things such as discharge, the consistency of it, so you know when you're ovulating. And a lot of people, we just know, we go to the toilet and we're like, oh yeah, I'm ovulating. So again, that really helped because I knew exactly when I was ovulating, and obviously you're just going for it, at it like rabbits. I think that's everything. It definitely isn't. I'm actually going to do a Q&A for anything that I've missed. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment them below, message me online on Instagram, anything that you want to know, just let me know. I will, if you follow me on Instagram, I'll have a story that will be me asking questions or asking you to ask me a question. I'll also put the NGL app as well, just so in case you want to be anonymous, it's absolutely fine. I totally understand. If I remember, I'll link my NGL thing anyway below if you want to ask a question, just because like I'm nosy and I would want to know. So if you have any questions, literally nothing's off limits. Ask anything, that's absolutely fine. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. I'm sure I'm going to edit this and be like, why didn't I talk about that? But I can talk about it again, it's absolutely fine. Again, just take everything that I said with a pinch of salt. I'm not a healthcare professional in any way, but I hope that it was useful to shed some light. I wish everybody a lovely journey if you're on a fertility journey. I send loads of love. And if you're not, I hope that you are well, that you're hydrated, taking your vitamin D. Please be kind, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your evening or rest of your day, whatever you're doing, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye bye.